Welcome to the Christian Romance Podcast, where we go behind the books with inspiring Christian romance authors, exploring faith, love, and the journey that brings the story to life. I'm your host, Kelly Jo Wilson, and today we're chatting with Tessa Afshar. Tessa's award-winning biblical fiction has landed her on Publishers Weekly, CBA, and ECPA bestseller lists, and has been translated into 12 languages. Born in the Middle East, raised in England, and now living in the U.S., Tessa's powerful conversion to Christianity in her 20s forever changed her life and her storytelling. She's a devoted wife, a not-so-great gardener, and an enthusiastic cook of biblical recipes. I'm thrilled to welcome her back to the show. So be sure to stay tuned until the end for a very special blessing and to learn how to enter our book giveaway. Now, here's my conversation with Tessa. Hi, Tessa. Thank you so much for being here on the Christian Romance Podcast. I'm so happy to talk with you again.
Kelly, it's always a pleasure being with you. You have such an upbeat program, and I love hanging out with you.
Oh my gosh, you are the absolute best. And I love hanging out with you too. And let me just tell you, I love these stories that you share, that you write on your heart. And I cannot wait to hear more about this, your new book and your new story. It sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds like there's a little bit of danger for them in there, and there's just so much good stuff. But before we get to that, why don't you just let our listeners know a little bit more about you and the kind of stories that you write?
Thank you so much, Kelly, for your gracious introduction. Yeah, I write stories that are set in biblical times. Right now, I'm writing stories that are set during the time of Queen Esther, during the Persian period of the Bible. But all my books are basically stories that take place during the biblical period, either New Testament or Old Testament. The main characters are sometimes fictional, but there's always either a circumstance or a support character who is biblical. And then I also have a few books whose main characters are actually in the Bible.
Yes, and that is wonderful. And let me just tell you, I don't know, are you a member of the Facebook group, the Avid Readers of Christian Fiction Facebook group? Because people in there absolutely love your stories. And I'm sure that that is just a little snippet of just other people just around the world who are reading these stories, but they are just so rich with the history and just really bringing the Bible to life by like getting into these stories. And there's so many people. I'm so happy you're part of that. So you can see some of these comments.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I don't get to join them every day, obviously, but yeah, every once in a while I do. I'm very encouraged. I think, I write fiction. So obviously I try, my hope is that I write a good story with every book, that there is a kind of entertainment, that you can escape to this different world, that you fall in love with the characters, that you feel the emotional highs and lows that they are feeling. But I think the difference for me that's really important to me is that when you shot a book down, you may have laughed, you may have cried, you may have fallen a little bit in love, and had those experiences that we want in a book. But I hope when you come to the end of a story, you feel just a little closer to God. You feel just a little closer to encouragement, to peace, to understanding a glimpse of yourself. Like, I've been acting like this, and now I kind of am beginning to understand why. Or I've been feeling a distance from God, and now I understand why. But just coming away feeling better about life, feeling closer to God, feeling more encouraged. That's my hope.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure that you are absolutely impacting readers in that way. And that's just so beautiful, especially because you're just having that in mind whenever you're working with these stories and really co-creating with him is just such a servant heart. And that really does come to life. Like, that's something that just is so authentic, and it just comes to life in the pages. And I'm sure people just, it resonates with people so much because we all need that, right? We do. And we go through different struggles. at all different times of our lives, and sometimes you don't even realize what's happening. And then you're reading a story that you're like, you know what? This makes so much sense. It just kind of hits to your heart a little bit and makes you see something differently. That happens to me even writing my stories. I didn't even realize something in this current story that I'm writing, and God is like showing me so much. And I was having like spiritual warfare about it. Like it was like intense. And I'm like, what is going on? What do you need to clean? Like, what do I need to clean out here? What do you need to clean out? Like, what's going on in here? And he's showing me and just writing the story. So I can only imagine how different things like are impacting the readers too from your stories. Do you ever experience that too? Like sometimes God is just taking you on this journey, like it's just so crazy while you're writing these stories.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like sometimes something flows out of something I've been going through myself. And so I'm putting words to something that I'm already on the other side of or in the midst of. And sometimes as I'm in the midst of it, I'm writing something and I sit up and go, that was for me. Like, I hope some reader will connect with that, but I know I just connected. Like, I feel like the Lord was speaking to me. But you're right. I mean, the spiritual warfare in these books, as I write the books through them, the spiritual warfare can be so, so intense. That's why, like, I love hearing from my readers, but a lot of them write and say, I pray for you. God bless you. It's the
Oh,
greatest gift. But I think that the Holy Spirit must put it on their hearts that, like, this poor woman needs prayer. Just intercede.
yes, absolutely. Oh, I know. What a wonderful gift. Because you don't realize, like, because it is a ministry, right? These writing these stories and hoping that they are anything pointing back to Jesus, right? Anything, sharing it. We all have gifts. He has equipped us so much, especially if he's calling you to a place, he will equip you fully to complete that thing, no matter what it is. And when that happens, when you're walking that path, my goodness, oh, the enemy is just trying to throw those fiery darts from all angles. And that actually, it makes me feel better just knowing, not that I don't want you to struggle and go through that, but it makes me feel better knowing like, oh my gosh, yes, okay, she has this too. So I'm sure that readers are like, oh my goodness, yes, she has this too kind of thing, because it's hard. It's hard. That's why we all just support one another so much. It's so important. And praying for you, I think that's such a wonderful gift.
It truly is. But Kelly, if you're experiencing spiritual attack as you're writing, that means you're writing the right book. So keep it up.
That's good to know for sure, Tessa. There was definitely some times where I'm like, oh my goodness. I think it was Kimberly Woodhouse who I was talking to, and she was like, she said that her dad used to say to her, if you're not, if basically like if you're not fighting, if you're not having to fight against something with every step, then what are you
Wow.
doing
Yeah.
wrong? Kind of thing. Like you bet, because the enemy's gonna come for you because he wants to stop whatever you're doing. He doesn't want it to go forward because, like you said, you want people to come away feeling closer to
Yeah.
God, and he doesn't want that. So anybody listening going through going through some struggles, just know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then a friend's dad. You were talking about Kimberly's dad. My friend's dad, who is a wonderful pastor. He's in glory now, but he used to always quote the verse that ends with "and underneath are the everlasting arms," and
Mm.
he would say, "I to me that means like it doesn't matter if you fall to pieces because underneath are the everlasting arms, ready to catch even the pieces." To put you back together again. So I just felt like someone needed to hear that tonight. So if you feel like you're falling to pieces, underneath are the everlasting arms, and He's going to catch those pieces.
Oh, that is just beautiful. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful picture.
Yeah.
Especially we all feel so broken sometimes. Like that brokenness is just so raw. And but he is there, yes, and he can make everything new again and work it all together for good, which is just amazing to witness. It really, really is. Oh, I'm so glad you shared that, Tessa. Thank you for that. It's
Thank
so
you.
wonderful and just so encouraging. I love it. Well, let's talk about this story. So, this is book 2 in the Queen Esther's Court, but each of these books read as a standalone. But did you want to give like a little kind of quick, brief summary about starting with like how I know last time you were here, we talked about the Queen's Cook, and then just share like the setting a little bit about with the series?
Thank you. So, yeah, my own background is Persian. So, I grew up in the land where Esther was queen and lived there for the first almost 14 years of my life. And then I moved to England and eventually came to the US. I'm an American citizen and this is my home, and it's a blessing to be here. But I became a Christian here in the United States. And it wasn't until I read the Bible for the first time where I came across these kings who were the kings I studied as a kid in school in the Middle East. And I was like, I know all these kings, but I'd never heard of Queen Esther, because Queen Esther is only mentioned in the Bible. So she's not mentioned in sort of historical documents. And so she's not taught at in our school systems, or she wasn't. And so I was like, I'm in love with this queen, and I knew that one day I would write about her, but I also always knew that I wouldn't write her story as with Esther as the central character, because so many other people have written beautiful stories and there are movies about her, and I just wanted a different look at it. So I ended up, we came up with this 3-book series where 3 women who are Esther's fictional friends, they come into Esther's life, they become friends, and Esther uh, wields tremendous influence over their lives, and they in turn bring a certain kind of gift to Esther. Each woman in the series has a very interesting job. So in the first book, she was a cook and she became a cook in Esther's kitchens. And in this second novel, she's a potter. So it's called The Royal Artisan. And she is a potter, a very well known potter in Susa. But she lives under an assumed name. She's known as Sazana, which is a Persian name. So she's got an assumed identity because the owner of the pottery shop is Haman, who hates the Jews. So she does not reveal the fact that she is in fact Shoshana until Haman is removed out of the way. And yes, and then actually all the fun begins, really.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. And I love that you build this around the friendship of Esther with these women. I think it's just beautiful how it like kind of plays out. And it just sounds super interesting, especially because if Susanna has to have this like hidden identity because and then while doing this work that she absolutely loves, like there's just already there's like so much tension there. so so much tension. Um but it sounds amazing. Now, let's talk about so we have Susanna and then what is going on with the little romance that kind of happens. Obviously no spoilers, but who is the romantic interest and what's going on with those two?
So when Haman is killed, we know from the Bible that the king gifts to Esther, and the word is a little bit kind of not easily understood, whether he gives her Haman's house or he gives her Haman's property. So in my version of the story, the king gives Esther Haman's house in the city of Susa, but he also gives her some property, among which is the workshop. And so at this point, you think, oh, well, the story is over. It's page 70 and the story is over because, like, everything's solved. But no, this is when the problems start, because Haman's 10 sons are still alive. We're told that they don't die until the appointed day, which from the announcement where Haman has caused this terrible announcement that all the Jews are to be put to death on one day, goes out to the day that announcement is to be put into practice. There's 11 months. So during those 11 months, even after Haman dies like a month later or something, during those remaining 10 months, those sons are alive. So think of all the trouble they can make, especially thinking that this workshop should belong to us. This belonged to our dad. And so there's a lot of trouble. And the queen sends her agent into the pottery workshop to make sure that there are no spies lingering from Haman and to make sure that Sazana is safe. Except that the agent, guess who he is? He is a man with whom Sazana has history because 5 years earlier they had fallen in love and were, in fact, betrothed. But Jaden broke the engagement. Naughty, naughty man. So now they have to basically, they have to solve this great puzzle. They have to find an ancient relic in order to help Esther. They have to protect Sazana's life. And all this while they're trying to sort of walk on the eggshells of their past and figure out. And we want to know, will they have a second chance at love? And whatever happened with Jaden back then anyway?
You are the best. All these hooks, you're getting me. I have to know what happens. You're totally reeling me in. Okay. Okay. So they have a past. So they were engaged, but they didn't actually get married, right? So they were like ready to be betrothed, but then he broke it off. Okay. And now
they were actually betrothed. So it's a big deal. They were actually betrothed and he broke the contract. So it was a big deal.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And he knows, so he must know that who she is, right? This is 5 years ago. They were going to be married. So he knows who she is. He knows her identity. He knows she's Jewish. He has to.
Yes, okay. He does. He does.
Oh, man.
That's right.
So now he has to watch and make sure all these sons of Haman are not like causing ruckus everywhere. Oh my goodness. It sounds exciting.
And they have to find this ancient relic, which I personally saw, thank you, at the British Museum. It exists, people. So what I do with it didn't exist. I made that up, but it's really, it's a true relic. And it's one of those things that really is so simple to look at, but it leaves you speechless because the prophecies of the Bible and archaeology and the Word of God, they're all kind of met in this one ancient relic.
Oh, that is exciting. That is so exciting. That's so neat that you were able to see that. I wonder if that's how people feel. Have you ever been over like in Israel, like where they go to like the Wailing Wall and like to see like in the Garden of Gethsemane? Have you been there too?
I haven't. No, we were meant to go and then we had sort of an emergency at home and had to cancel the trip and it has never happened since. So unfortunately, yeah.
I would imagine.
Bucket list, unless Jesus returns.
Bucket list. I know. Our church actually, a couple years ago they planned a trip that was to Israel. I think actually, I say a couple years. I think it was probably like 10 years ago. And I was like so curious about that because people talk about going there and it's very similar. Like, I love how you put it. Like, it's like, archaeology and history and the Bible all together, like everything is coming to life. God, all of that place is just amazing. But I would imagine just seeing the relic itself, wherever that is pretty emotional and pretty amazing at the same time.
Yeah, it really is because, again, this is a fairly significant find and if you know the Bible, you know the surrounding prophecies around it. It's just like a moment in history where the faithfulness of God is encapsulated in this relic. Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I love it. It sounds amazing. It sounds a little bit suspenseful too.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's little hints of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of suspense because again, her life is in danger. There's been a tragic loss, and they're trying to protect her. They're racing against time to find the relic so they can help Esther before the appointed day. So there's a lot. There's definitely suspense, and so suspense, romance, the Word of God.
All blended together. That's what we love.
It's a little stew.
Love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is totally my jam. And everybody listening, usually that's their jam. Books and Jesus and love. We love it.
Yeah, it's a little cottage mystery for sure.
I love it. Well, it sounds like I've been talking about the tropes recently. So I am wondering and we had chatted beforehand, but it sounds like there's a little bit of hidden identity, second chances, any other tropes you might want to add in there?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely second chance at love, which I love stories like that. So I realized that never like I'd done it once, but I hadn't done it like the whole book, and so I thought I wanted to do the whole book as a second chance at love. But between the same characters, sometimes you have second chance at love with someone who's lost love, and then all of a sudden in their later years finds it again. But the one that I didn't know was a trope, and you, Kelly, introduced me to, is like a bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
So because Jaden is basically, as the Queen's agent, is acting as her protector.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tessa, we just make up tropes here. That's what we do too. Actually, I think that is one though. I think that's like an official kind of like a bodyguard trope, or like sometimes it's in like especially in suspense stories, it'll be like woman in danger, that kind of thing,
Yes.
But yeah, I love the bodyguard tropes. I mean, even just like the bodyguard movie, how it's like, taking care of her and making sure she's okay, and then of course they have a forced proximity, right, because they're going together to look for this relic and make sure that they can get it to Esther and help her, which always is a wonderful journey to be on. I like that second chance at love too, between the same characters as well. I agree. I love that too.
And then there's the MacGuffin, which refers to an item, an object that is sort of at the core of the story, and you have to find it. So there's a MacGuffin in there too.
Oh, yeah. That's always fun too. And that's like adventurous. It's fun to go on these adventures, especially because you already kind of take the readers on a little bit of an adventure, just going back into these historical settings, right? And bringing those stories to life so much.
Yeah.
And then actually putting them on a little quest is really cool. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So before we go, I always love to ask, especially you always have such wonderful insight and encouragement. Was there a certain Bible verse that really kind of encouraged you while you were writing this story? Or I know you put verses in your stories too. Was there one that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. So for this particular book, one of the central verses is from Isaiah 64:8, because obviously she's a potter. So it says, "But now, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you're our potter. We're all the work of your hand." Now, this is there's a central thread in the lives of both central characters, and in a way, in Esther's life as well, because as a support character, which is that they are either in their real experiences or in their spiritual, emotional experiences, they are basically orphans, and they are living life as orphans, at least in some area of their lives. And by that I mean they're acting as though God is not their father. They're acting as though it's all up to them. And I found that when I live out of that orphan kind of spirit, even though I wasn't an orphan, but sometimes spiritually, emotionally, we live as if we are. When I act out of that spirit, there are a couple of things that happen. A central thing is you think it's all up to you. You forget that God is there to direct you, to guide you, to counsel you, to protect you, to shield you, to provide for you. And all of a sudden you take charge of all those things for yourself. And this leads to two things besides exhaustion, I think. Two opposite things. One is a low level or sometimes a high level of anxiety that's just undergirding every act of life, every part of life. You're always anxious because somewhere in the back of your mind, you're very aware that I'm not up for this job of being in charge of my own protection or my own provision or my own counsel. And if it's up to me, I'm always going to be anxious that the whole thing's going to cave around me for good reason. And you're forgetting and unable to give everything in trust and remembering that He is the Father. The opposite side of always being anxious is always being in control. So you take the threads and the ropes of control of your life. You are in charge of everything, and therefore you become controlling of people around you. You want to keep everybody safe. You want to keep everybody shielded. You want to provide for everybody. And this is a big job, but it makes you act more and more controlling. You have to get more and more things in place. Sometimes, if you're really, really walking in the orphan spirit, you're both. You're both controlling and anxious. And, I wanted for these characters as they live through this wounding, to remind my readers, but now, Lord, you are our Father. You are the potter. We're just a pot in the palm of your hand. And you are the one who is able to look after us, to shape us, to provide for us. So I hope that by the end of the book, like my characters, they have come to that conclusion that if they are in any part of their lives living as orphans, just stop.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, that's so well put. And I can totally see that in both of them, really, having the control and the anxious parts because, especially like even Joe or Jadon. How do you say his name? What's the best way?
I say Jaden, but it's
Jaden. Okay.
Jadon. Yeah, I don't know.
Jadon.
I
Okay.
don't know how it is.
Oh, I knew I was going to mess it up too, Tessa.
No, there's
Oh.
no messing up. You're allowed to say it however you like.
You're so funny. But even with him, like with the bodyguard piece, having that control and wanting to make sure she is safe and make sure everything is happening too. Like you said, it can be, not trusting God to guide you and take you through what you need to. But you said that so well. I think so many people struggle with that too, like underlying anxiety, but not really understanding maybe what the root of it is. And yeah, it's so freeing once you really surrender. I know that I've definitely walked in that as well, the controlling piece more than anything.
Yeah.
And it's really just fear,
Yeah.
that everything's going to fall, everything's going to break. Like you said, if you're being I never heard it put like that too. That's such a great way to think. And Jesus says that too throughout the Bible as well, but I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. And just that orphan spirit, like you said, I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah. I think Jaden, you will
Mm,
find in his storyline, in his thread, when you go back to the root of why he broke the betrothal, it comes to a place where you get to the end of the thread, you follow that he's trying to control certain things. And
mm.
whereas for her, she's more anxious about failing. And so it's all of a piece, really. We just get broken one way or the other. It's two sides of the same coin.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's so amazing how you can just so well put, like how they're related, how they can be so related. And like you said, two sides of the same coin. But yeah, he is our potter. We are the
Yeah.
clay for
Yeah.
sure, and he is always in control and works everything together for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And it's so wonderful to be a part of that, but it really is so amazing whenever you realize it. Whenever it's like, I mean, I always will say this, but I also listen to Charles Stanley, like In Touch Ministries, usually to do a devotional every day. And he always says, like, the strongest you are is on your knees. Like, that's the strongest you can be, because then that's God working in you, right? Like, when we're weak, he's strong. So it's just a wonderful picture of that. Amazing. Amazing, as
Thank you.
always. Well, where can listeners go to connect with you? And please reach out to Tessa and tell her how wonderful these stories are and also just how they're connecting with you, please. I love when readers do that. I think it's so important, especially because your heart is so much for your readers. It's so evident. But where can they connect with you and also get a copy of The Royal Artisan?
Thank you, Kelly. So I think the easiest place to be and the only place that's my real estate is just go to my website. It's tessaafshar.com. I have a new all designed website. So there are some new bells and whistles and giveaways and recipes on there. So go have a fun look around, and you definitely can also find ways to pre-order the book. I think by the time this is out, actually the book will be out too. So you can order the book. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. And your website is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. As soon, like literally front page, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so her. It's just so like puts you right into that setting. It really is beautiful. So yes, thank you so much, Tessa. Thank you for sharing your heart, and just thank you so much for this work that you do and just pointing readers to Jesus. It's just so evident and wonderful in your words and in every way. So just thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. It's always a pleasure being with you. And I just want to speak a word of blessing over those who are listening to this. And thank you for hanging on to us right to the end of the conversation. May the Lord bless you. If you're in pieces, may you be aware, because you know He says the everlasting arms are here. So that's a promise. But may you become aware of the everlasting arms. May you become aware that He's your Father and He's not going to walk away, that you can trust everything that's going on in your life right now to Him, even though it's hard.
What a joy to share today's episode with you. I hope it encouraged your heart and inspired your love for stories that reflect God's grace and goodness. If you enjoyed our conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And because we're so grateful you're part of this community, we love to bless you with lots of books. Enter our latest giveaway by visiting ChristianRomancePodcast.com. That's ChristianRomancePodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, keep your faith, share the love, and happy reading.